Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Generation Millennia. I'm your visually impaired host, and welcome back to my visually impaired playthrough for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. When we last left off, we defeated the first gym leader, Rourke, and now it's time to move on with our journey here in the Sinnoh region. Which, at this point, I fulfilled my promise of what I was going to do last time. And if you did watch my episode, ow, Thud, what are you doing? How dare you bump into me like that when I'm in the middle of a monologue? Then again, considering named after me, I suppose I do used to have a hasty nature, like, when I took the mystery dungeon quiz back when I was a kid, I had a hasty nature, and apparently that's what you need for Pikachu. And speaking of thuds, there we go. I was like, where's the blasted entrance? Oh man, encounter? That's rare. And Geodude, hello. And as you can see, that Abra I caught, I've fulfilled my promise. It's now decked out and ready for battle. And as much as I would just love to solo the game with this one Alakazam, unfortunately, there is some forced double battle segments in the game, and unlike Pokemon Sword and Shield, in which if you had just one Pokemon, you could essentially just skip all those double battle segments because you don't have two Pokemon, so they can't force you into battle. In this game, however, if you try to enter those segments, you're unfortunately just forced to battle those double battle trainers one after the other, rather than both of them coming at you simultaneously. They just come at you one at a time. So, unfortunately, they're not skippable. Which is why I still have a second Pokemon in my party, which is just my starter Pokemon, the Piplup. But since he's not the front of the party anymore, he's not going to be gaining as much experience points anymore. But at this point, he's mostly just there as a placeholder. As sad as that sounds, it's like, rather than being an HM slave, he's now just a spot filler. Because unfortunately, like I said, I need to have two Pokemon to get through those double battles. Because my Alakazam has the move Dazzling Gleam on it, which means he can now just hit two Pokemon simultaneously and... Ah, there we go. I was like, why am I not moving? I was like, I'm not in the right position. But now we return to Jupiter Life City, and now it's time to head back upward to Eternal City. But first off, we have these battles against these evil organization members. This is our first introduction to Team Galactic. Although I don't think I ever read the text of what they're doing here in Jewel Life City for some reason. And speaking of the Dazzling game I was talking about earlier, let's see it in action. And even though, yes, I know it's not very effective on poison, but I mean, come on, he's level 100. He's fully decked out with IVs and EVs, and has a modest nature mint on him. So, yeah, these guys are essentially dead. I mean, have you seen Alakazam's special attack set when he's fully decked out with like a modest nature, max IVs and all that stuff? It's essentially 400. So, I think the only thing that could survive a hit is a Blissey. Unless I would teach him Psyshock, then that'd be a different story, but I'd teach him Psychic instead. Anyways, friendly rival runs off. And then here I think we meet the, I forgot her name. Bebe, there we go, yeah. She's responsible for the storage system here in Sinnoh, so after that conversation, we have now unlocked the ability to use the Pokemon boxes anywhere to go, just like in all the other modern Pokemon games. And then here, I want to enter the Pokemon Center. Because after you get the first gym badge, you can also unlock the multiplayer functionality. All you have to do is go downstairs of any Pokemon Center. I could have done it in Orbrook City, but I wanted to show it here on screen. So after you finish this conversation, and go back upstairs, and you exit the Pokemon Center, because you can technically still use the Union Room trade battle functionality, whatever, in the second floor. However, now that you've done that, you can press the white button. You can access to the Union Room, which the one on the left is for local, and then the one on the right is for online usage. So now that, like I said, I've gone down there, that unlocks the multiplayer functionality. And if I was so inclined to do it, if you enter the I forget what's up, like the TV station over here on the left side over here. And you talk to a certain NPC, they'll ask you for a bunch of like password questions. If you answer them correctly, which I think the answers are related to like mystery gift kind of stuff or online connectivity, you unlock the mystery gift function for the menu, which, as you can see right now, is not there. You have to unlock it by talking to NPC, which is something you had to do in the older games from Gens 1 through 4, I believe. Well, it wasn't available in Gen 1, but in Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh, you had to talk to a certain NPC to unlock the mystery gift function, because back then, mystery gift, I don't know, it was like not as accessible or something. And why am I not moving? Hello? Am I at the wrong entrance? Nah, come on! All in here is a bunch of thudding. What's going on? Why am I stuck? Oh, was I not in the right area? Oh, guess not. There we go! And then, now that we defeated Work, we can now use that Rock Smash we just learned from that partner guy, from that one hiker, and in the, whatchamacallit, in the Orbor Gate. So we can now run over here. Now there is more to the Orbor Gate, like you can go to like to the left there and smash a bunch of rocks and that, but I think in order to get to the item at the end you need Surf, so no point in me going over there. But now that we're in the northern section of Route, what is this, 204? We can now head on over this way. Or, wait, was it? Oh, wait. I'll take it. Did I just, was that a spin, or did I accidentally just ran past and then just ran back in front of again? Total fail on my end. Oh, hey, Badoo. We're going to see a lot of more of these. And that's one thing about Sinnoh I never quite understood. Like, giving Roselia an evolution to Roserade was pretty cool and interesting, but why in the heck did you get a baby form? Then again, for both, it was after Sinnoh they dropped the whole baby idea, but like for Hoenn they made baby forms for like, why not for Boba Fett, and then Chingling for Chimecho. Well, I mean, no, that's Sinnoh. No, oh yeah, it was Azurill for the Marrow line. So like, why did you create Azurill and why not 4? I mean, they're cool concepts, but at the same time, like, did these two Johto Pokemon really need to have baby forms? And why didn't you sit in the Hoenn region of all places? And in the Sinnoh region introduced 4 more babies. There's Chingling for Chimecho, Bonsly for Pseudo Wudo, Mime Jr. for Mr. Mime, and Happiny for the Chansey lines. Like, did any of those lines really need to have baby forms? Like, what's the point of all that? Anyway, it's just the first instance of a double battle that unfortunately you can't skip, because if you tried, I mean, I guess you could technically skip it, but when I say skip, I mean in the fact that if you tried battling them, it'd just be one-on-one, like just 2 one-on-one battles if you tried it. But at least here we can just use that and knock them out ASAP. Although the fact that I had to sit through 2 baby doll animations was rather annoying, because unfortunately baby doll is a priority for some reason, so you just can't skip it. Hey, you want to learn Peck? Yeah, no thanks. Come on. I forgot, because there's 2 people there, there's more dialogue. Anyways, that's the last battle. Ah, dang it, come on! Well, I just achieved that particular meme. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm almost out of here. I'm on the last patch of grass. Time to get out here. And then encounter. It's like, dang it, game! And, ooh, was that a text message? 1 second here. Oh, wait, never mind. Man. I mean, yes, I did receive text messages, but it's not important. And now we reach Florima Town. Now, depending on if you have saved data from Sword and Shield, as well as Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you see these NPCs over here, this old couple of people around here. I believe the one on the left, if you have saved data for Let's Go, she'll give you a level 1 Mew gift. And if you have saved data from Sword and Shield, you talk to the guy on the right, he'll give you a free Jirachi. So you can get 2 mythical Pokemon right here, just for having saved data of previous games, which is both kind of cool and extremely broken. Beyond that, there's an NPC here. If you manage to get Shaman in your game, you talk to a person here, and she'll give you the key item, Gracidia, I think it's how it's pronounced. And essentially, that item allows you to change Shaman to its Sky form. Anyways, we ran to the past of Florimo Town, and as you saw, there was a little girl there. Apparently, her father works here at this factory called the Valley Windworks, and she hasn't seen him in quite a while. And she wants us to investigate. But it looks like this Team Galactic Grunt is currently blocking the entrance to the building. So now we need to defeat him to gain entrance. And also, we should be highly whether it be official people or evil crime organizations, the fact they just have a single guy on guard when people like us can just walk up and defeat them is like, yeah, maybe you should have a lot more people on guard to ensure that this scenario doesn't happen. But apparently this guy has some brains, because he's gonna run inside, lock the door, and since we don't have a key, we can't enter. However, his companions, for some strange reason, are back here in Florimo Town. Oop, dang it. Am I a little too high? Low? Come on. There we go. So as the name suggests, Florimo Town is all based on flowers because, well, there's flowers everywhere. But there's a meadow section up here that we can find that these same Galactic Grunts over here, that Valley Windwork guy's associates are up here harassing this old guy, person, elder, I don't know. A little bit, I forget what the age of that person is. But by the way, he has an item called Honey, and if you guys are familiar with the Sinnoh region, then Honey is an item that essentially attracts wild Pokemon. Apparently these Galactic Grunts they want to steal this guy's honey so they can attract and catch all the Pokemon they want. But in all honesty, I don't understand why they need that, considering, I mean, this guy's a Wurmple, and we're very close to the Eternal Forest. You could just go over there to catch your Pokemon, man. And yeah, here's like I think that was it Silcoon, Cascoon? That's Silcoon. But yeah, these are bug Pokemon, and while they can come from you can find these guys in the honey trees, but they can also be found in the Eternal Forest, so I don't see why these guys need the honey item, and you can find these guys in the forest just fine. And given their levels, I think they're from the forest? Anyways, we have to fight 2 of them here separately. I mean, I wish they made us go in a double battle so I could take them both down simultaneously, but unfortunately they make you battle them one at a time. Oh, and here's a Zubat. And you're wondering about some of the attacks I'm using, because I can just easily use a move like Psychic, but I don't know. I mean, I have animations on, so I'm not really in like speedrun mode, but at the same time, by not using super effective move, I'm saving myself a little bit of time not seeing that super effective box. Not to mention, I also want to save Psychic's power points if I can. But after protecting the 2 grunts, this guy is going to be all happy and give us the exact honey item that those guys were wanting. But at the same time, we also get the Works key, which is the item we need to enter the building that other Galactic Grunt locked in front of us. I can't say behind us because we weren't entering the building. But yeah, he first gives the Work key, then the honey. And we run over here to the right side. I think it's this tree right here. This like golden yellowish tree. These are the ones you can slather honey on. And you have to wait 6 real life hours. You cannot speed it up. You cannot use like time skip manipulations or anything. But so you have to wait 6 real life hours. The honey tree will, I think it's like a 95% chance of calling it a Pokemon. Yeah, I know. Sometimes they call it nothing, which really sucks. But I'm not sure they fix it for the remakes. For that particular thing, but if they do call it a Pokemon, they usually call it a Pokemon from like I think it's like 2 different like encounter tables. And the most infamous Pokemon that you can call in from honey trees is the 1% Munchlax, which is based upon your trainer ID. I think if that's consistent from the original Dynamite Pro games. So if you will clicked over here to your trainer card. Oops, I'm in the bag. Here we go. This is a trainer card. So if you look at I think it has your trainer ID here, or you can look in like your Pokemon summary page. Depending on what the ID is, I think that determines which honey trees Munchlax can appear on, because I think there's like, I forget how many honey trees are in the game exactly. I think it was somewhere in the teen numbers, like 13 to 19 somewhere, maybe a little bit more than that. Scattered throughout like the early part of the Sinnoh region. And oh, I found an item. I was trying to find the door. Hello, door, where are you? Oh, there it is. Oh, there's a little bit more on the right side. But anyway, now we can enter the building. Huh? Wait, I just heard to unlock. Oh, there we go. I was like, that's a problem with trying to move around with the analog stick compared to the D-pad. You're not quite in position. But yeah, the 1% Munchlax is one of the Pokemon you can counter via the honey trees, although they fixed that particular annoyance via mechanic that will become later on. But in addition, the other Pokemon that are also exclusive to the honey trees in this game are the Heracross and Burmy-Lions. You can only find those via honey trees. Heracross can be a bit annoying to find because it's on the uncommon side. I mean, it can appear in any honey tree anytime you slather the tree. And FYI, the encounter is determined as soon as you slather the honey on the tree. It's not when you have to wait 6 hours. So as soon as you slather the tree, and as stupid as it is, you have to wait 6 hours for the encounter. But as soon as the honey hits the tree, the whatever you're gonna get is already determined right then and there. Still, it is rather ridiculous that you have to wait 6 real life hours. There we go. And now we have our first encounter with a Galactic Grunt. Or not Grunt, a Galactic Commander, or Adamant if you want to call it that. And if you could hear the music right now, the music's quite different, and oh, well, you can already tell it's different because you saw their picture of them there. Who is this again? Who are you? Saturn? Or Mars? One of those two. It's not the guy. It's not Jupiter. I know that for certain. But in terms of like speedruns and whatnot, this is your probably first encounter with a very difficult foe because, I mean, well, Zubat has Supersonic, so that can be a little annoying. But usually it shouldn't be that difficult to take down. And hey, Pip up to level 16, so it's gonna evolve after this battle. But this Pyroggly, on the other hand, being the fact that it's your first encounter with a fully evolved Pokemon that can fake you out. And because Fake Out is stab on this Pyroggly, and it's going to have pretty good speed and attack power. So yeah, it can be rather annoying. Thankfully though, my Alakazam has Inner Focus, so it cannot be flinched by Fake Out or any other move, so it's dead. And yes, I put Inner Focus on purpose for these kinds of scenarios, so I can just, so I don't have to waste a turn just sitting there waiting for Pokemon, see my Pokemon get flinched. You may think that's a bit ridiculous because that's probably not going to happen all that often, but you'd be surprised what RNG can do to you. So, yeah, I prefer not to have to deal with that. Although if I was a complete, like, crazy guy for, like, and I want to take down maybe, like, say, a Blissey with a bunch of power as possible, I could give this guy Magic Guard ability and have him hold a Life Orb. That's also possible. Yay, Evolution, Focus Entry, and I think you learn Metal Claw now? Yes, you do. Although I'm not going to care about that because I'm not going to use you in battle at this point, so I'm just have you there for the sake of formality. And I don't even remember why Team Galactic was here to Valley Windworks. Like, I don't know if they're trying to monopolize the energy the Valley Windworks gives off, because as you can tell, like, they use the windmills to, like, help generate electricity or something. I don't know, maybe they're just trying to monopolize on all the power that this place generates for themselves, which I don't understand why they need that, considering their ultimate goal. I mean, what does the Valley Works have to do with their ultimate goal? And considering their name, Team Aqua is obvious. Their theme is around water. Team Magma is based around fire/land. And they kind of say as much. Galactic, on the other hand, their ultimate goal is, at this point, unknown. Because all we've seen them do so far is, like, just disturb the peace, like Team Rocket does. But anyways, now that all stuff in Falorma Town is done, we can now move on. Because now this bridge up here should, to the northern section of, what is this, Route 205 now? I should now be unimpeded. I can move on. But the only obstacle at this point are trainers, like this one here. Or just the general locale in general. Thankfully, only one trainer, one Pokemon, so it's not going to be that difficult to take down. And, oh hey, Geodude, you better not have sturdy. I think usually it's like the gym leaders and the important trainers that typically have sturdy just to troll you to hell. And then these regular trainers, they didn't give sturdy just so we can move past them faster. Yep, there we go. No sturdy. Phew! That means I don't have to waste any power points. I really wish Pokemon like Alakazam could learn like a 2-hit move or just some kind of multi-hit move just in case so I don't have to deal with those sturdy things. But oh well. It is what it is, and oh, there we go. Just moving along, moving my way upwards. I think another trainer. Back to the honey trees. Besides the Burmy line and Burmy and Heracross line, you can find other Pokemon there, like the Wurmple line, like Wurmple itself, Cascoon, Silcoon. I think Combee is kind of exclusive. You can't. I mean, technically, I think you can find it via another feature, but for the most part, they are locked. They can mostly be found via the honey tree. Also, Apom can be found there too. And like I said, the uncommon Heracross and then the 1% Munchlax, depending on what trees are in the game. But yeah, those Pokemon can be found in there. And Sinnoh is actually very crazy about its encounter, like methods, because oh boy, you can find Pokemon all over the place in a variety of methods. And nope, I'm not supposed to go that way. The entrance should be over here somewhere. Yep, there we go. So now we're in Turner Forest. And we meet this person called Cheryl, who wants us to escort her through the forest for some reason. But this introduces the first partner NPC co-op section, whatever you want to call it. In which, when you're in the middle of this section, all encounters in the grass become double battles. So if you actually select, I can't say the shiny charm because the shiny charm doesn't work in BDSP for some reason. I mean, it does on Masuda breeding, but all the other encounter methods, like, no, it doesn't work for some stupid reason, which I guess does make sense from a certain standpoint because, I mean, these are remaster/remake games, and the shiny charm didn't exist back in Generation 4. But Masuda breeding did exist back then, so the fact they decided to just let the shiny charm work on that, but then they left all the, like, everything else just stay to the full odds Generation 8, which is 1 in 4,000. Technically, that does track, but at the same time, the fact that they have, like, patched it all and anything like that, especially when this game had, like, a ton of glitches on launch, like the infamous Void glitch, along with, like, 50 different ways you could, like, clone Pokemon. So the fact that they didn't fix that shiny charm is rather odd. But yeah, you could technically just run around here, and since you have 2 Pokemon, the chances of you finding a shiny are slightly increased. Not guaranteed, just slightly increased. But yeah, this is like the infamous section in the game where you could, where having all these double battles can be a bit annoying. Although technically you could just interact with each trainer one at a time, and so therefore you can just force them to battle you one-on-one, rather than going to have to do with these double battles, which for some people is a lot safer, especially if they're doing like a special kind of playthrough, like a no damage run, which I've seen a couple people do before, and those people doing no damage runs are complete insane because that takes like forever to set up and do. Whereas in this case, I'm just spamming Dazzling Gleam because, as I know it's not very effective, but it just takes, if they had to, like, 2 Pokemon on the field, it takes them both at the same time, so yeah. And I'm not worried about wasting power points now, because another cool thing about these co-op sections that go underappreciated is that fact that each time the battle ends, the NPC your partner, in this case Cheryl, automatically heals you. So you don't have to worry about power points in this section. Like, you could use this section to, like, grind out experience points on your team. And just anything you want, really. Just whether it's shiny hunting, healing, or, well, shiny hunting, leveling up. I mean, just the fact that you can get healed. Like, I don't have to worry about running back to a Pokemon Center, not having any healing items on me, which I actually don't have many healing items on me, funny enough. I mean, I have now level 100 Pokemon. What do I need healing items for? I'm gonna sweep through the game. And I think that one of these trainers had an adder on them. So, like, yeah, too bad, so sad. I got the Superior Mon on my team. Oh, you're wondering how I got this Alakazam's moveset on him? Like, no, I did not just, like, transfer it in level 100 Alakazam and that was it. So essentially how to set this up was, like, that Aber I caught in the previous episode, I sent it to Pokemon Sword and Shield via Pokemon Home. Then I leveled up to level 100 there. I Hyper trained it there in Sword and Shield. I EV trained it there in Sword and Shield. Or rather, I just fed a bunch of vitamins. I also Nature Minted it there. All that stuff transfers over when you transfer Pokemon between games. Hyper Train, EVs, Nature Mints. It all tracks and moves over. Although with how Pokemon Home works now, abilities are not tracked anymore. I mean, the game tracks them, Home does not. So say for instance, like, I were to take that same Aber with the Sword and Shield, I use the ability patch on the Sword and Shield, give it Magic Guard. And then I transferred it back to BSP here. Unfortunately, the Magic Guard, it only recorded having Magic Guard in Sword and Shield, since it originally had an inner focus over here in Pokemon in BDSP. It would just go back to having inner focus rather than keeping Magic Guard, which is, I know that sounds stupid, but that's just how Home works now. And that would also work how if you try moving Pokemon between Scarlet and Violet to the other games. Like, for example, Scarlet and Violet, let's say you had a Charizard that with the Blaze ability, you transferred over Sword and Shield, use the ability patch there to give it solar power, but when you transfer back to Scarlet and Violet, it would just go back to having Blaze. So in other words, in order to get solar power in BDSP or Scarlet and Violet, you'd have to use the ability patch in those games respectively instead. And we reached the end of the forest. But if you were to look a little bit to the upper left corner there, there's a place called the Old Chateau, which honestly has no benefits for us to go to right now because we do not have the proper Pokemon to... Well, there's a Pokemon you can catch there, but we just don't have the resources to catch anything in there. I mean, if we were to look there, we find nothing but Psychic types. I mean, not Psychic, Ghost types. I got distracted because of Alakazam on screen. And oh, dang it. I don't know why I entered this whole rest in the first place. Now I'm paying for it. Because I didn't mean to go this way, and... What's going on with you, Discord? Why are you bothering me so much right now? Like, is someone trying to contact me? Maybe. Dang it! Oh, hey, Shellos. Not one of my the favorite Sinnoh Pokemon, but one of them that I do like. Give me 1 second. I'm actually checking my phone here. And just another server. I need to mute this server. Well, not the server, but this channel in particular, because I don't care about getting notified about these things. But anyways, welcome to Eterna City, which is the home of the second gym. So let's get to that immediately, shall we? Because funny enough, in order to actually move on in the story, we have to take on the gym. Because there's actually something suspicious going on here in Eterna City, which, I don't know, the people at the gym apparently are not affected by this catastrophe, so... What the frick? What's all these people and stuff contact me all of a sudden today? Like, I didn't record anything yesterday because I was a bit under the weather. I mean, it was extremely cloudy and raining and all stuff, and I have zero energy on days like that, so I just didn't have the energy to record anything. So I'm trying to make up for that right now. But anyways, we now reach the Eternal Gym. Inside of it, it's like a forest in which all the NPC trainers are hiding in the forest, and unfortunately, you cannot just find them all simultaneously and battle them all at your leisure. They are unfortunately all hiding. In order to reveal their locations, you need to defeat them one at a time, which is rather annoying. Although each time you defeat one of them, they actually give you a little hint about where the next one is hiding. And I think there are a total of, let's see, there's one there, one there, one there. I think there are 4 trainers in total to get to your defeats in order to, before Gardenia, the gym leader, herself appears. And as a note of warning, if you chose a Pokemon, like say Gym Charger starter, or you're using a Piplup using Peck on these grass types, be careful because Pokemon like Badoo and Roselia have Poison Point ability, so if you do run in here, you might want to take a few antidotes just in case you like trigger the Poison Point ability, because that can be rather annoying to deal with. And there you go, here's trainer number 2, hiding in this bottom corner. And even more little annoying is the fact that all these trainers have like, I think like 3 Pokemon each, so it's not going to be like a quick defeat, unlike all the other trainers on the way here had like maybe like 1 or 2 Pokemon. Except for those co-op battles, like a lot of those co-op trainers had like 2 or 3 Pokemon each themselves, so it just makes the battle take even longer. I swear, it's like, what's up with Game Freak being so anti-speedrun? They're like trying. I mean, yes, it's a game. You're supposed to take your time with it, and they give you all these Pokemon to take down, so you Pokemon gain experience points and all that stuff. But at the same time, some of us just want to get to the real dish, like to the. We just want to get to the bottom of things, and all these trainers having so many Pokemon is kind of impeding that progress. Although, I'm also impeding my progress by having animations kept on. But for the sake of a playthrough, I want animations on so I can see what's going on in case something happens. Because you never know what can happen in a Pokemon playthrough. So yeah, each time you defeat a trainer, they like give you a little bit of a hint about where the next people are. Fortunately, I have these gym puddles mostly memorized, with the exception of the Snow Point gym. I never really tried looking for a way to solve that one quickly. Anyways, trainer number 3 I think is around. Yeah. Wait, it was around here? No, I think it was the next one. How did this work again? Oh, there we go. I know the right general location, it's just I forgot just exactly where they're hiding. For the love of... What are all the Discord messages? What do you people want? I know I should socialize, but at the same time I'm trying to make content here. And then... no, didn't mean to talk to you again. Now you run back over here. This is one of the gyms that trying to run around is like very difficult because of all the obstacles in the way. Not to mention trying to run via the analog stick is also a bit awkward. Anyways, here's train number 4. Oh, only 1 Pokemon this time? Thank you. And hey, Roselia! So I mentioned in the last episode, so like, Sinnoh is different that in order to complete the Pokedex and to unlock the National Dex, you need just to see all the Pokemon in the Sinnoh region, which is the 150 Pokemon in the base Sinnoh Dex. So the a lot of the trainers you can encounter in the game are pretty much just set to having certain Pokemon on them just so you can complete them better. Like, I don't know if I ran into that trainer in the Eternal Forest, maybe I skipped them. But one of them has a Burmy, and if you never encounter a Burmy via the honey trees, that one trainer in the forest is the only one you can find a Burmy to see it. And Gardenia should be around here somewhere now. Yep, there we go. But another thing's like here, Jim, like you saw we already seen a bunch of Badoos earlier, and then we saw that one Roselli from that one trainer. Then Gardenia herself has several Pokemon that can help you with your decks, depending on what like starter Pokemon you chose and whatnot. Sorry if I think that was Badoo she just sent out. I'll find out in a second here when the game shows me HP bar. Oh no, I think that was a... Wait, was that a Cherubi or a Cherub? Oh yeah, the Cherubi line is also another Pokemon you can find via honey trees. You want to learn... Bubble Beam. Okay, I'll teach you that. I don't know when I'll actually use it, but may as well. And you are a... Oh yeah, you have Turtwig. And again, I'm using Shadow Ball because it's just effective, and therefore I can just skip the super effective message that I would normally see if I would have used Psychic. I mean, I could technically use Psychic, but considering her ace Pokemon is coming up now, which is Roserade, I want to use Shadow Ball because, again, I'll skip the whole super effective notification box. Which, I know, typically you want to use a super effective move, but in this case, to speed the game by faster, you just want to skip through them faster, and dang, I started at level 20. So now we earn Gym Badge number 2. I forget what's called, the Forest Badge or something. And if it is, I mean, it doesn't make sense. I mean, look at little Cal. Although, frankly, the Sinnoh region, I really dislike its gym puzzle. Like they're simple once you know them, but at the same time they can be rather tedious. Like to this day, I still have not memorized the pattern of which you have to complete the Snow Point gym. And considering my eyesight has gotten worse over time, and it's still getting worse right now, I just have not been able to memorize the Snow Point gym puzzle at all. And if you wish to support me despite my vision, because I love Pokemon and I love making Pokemon content. So if you want to support me, because I cannot really hold down a regular steady job, links down in the description to my Patreon, and not to mention like, comment, subscribe, and maybe I should do a comment question of the day or something. So for today's comment, what's your favorite gym in the Sinnoh region? Do you like Orberg? Do you like Eternal City? Veilstone, Pastoria, Hearthome, Canalave, Snow Points, or Sunny Shore? And then we just met a person who's probably not all that important, but for some reason she just gave us the ability to use Cut outside of battle. Wait, she gives us the Cut TM/HM and the ability for our partner Pokemon to use said Cut move. But like I said, in terms of story relevance, you cannot use the move until you have the Eternal City Gym Badge, so now we can cut down this tree and enter this building over here. And you guys can hear the music right now. It will sound a little bit ominous. Because, well, Team Galactic is here again. And this is another one of those double battle segments that we're forced into. And unfortunately, we lost Cheryl, so I no longer have access to auto healing. Although, let me double check my PowerPoints. Oh yeah, I did max them out. Good, good. So I can be a little bit reckless here. And by reckless, I mean I can spam Dazzling Gleam and double battles, not to worry. Because these guys should go down very easily. I'm not sure they ever explained this one either. Like, I don't know why Team Galactic, like, kidnapped like the bike shop owner and like I think some other people and held them hostage at the top of this building. Like, is that ever explained? Like, I really don't understand why the Team Galactic guys are doing what they're doing at this point in the story. Well, the other thing about Eternal City is that there's like a statue on the right side, in the upper right side of town. Essentially, it's just, depending on what game you're playing, it's like a statue that worships the like legendary Pokemon of that game. So in this case, since we're playing Brilliant Diamond, we'll see a statue dedicated to Dialga, and in Shining Pearl be a statue dedicated to Palkia. Which does make sense. They are legendary Pokemon of the region, so they're technically reviewed as, I wouldn't say God, but definitely as like a powerful deity. I mean, if they wanted to worship anything, then by all means, dedicate yourself to worshipping Arceus, all you want. But considering that's a mythical Pokemon, they don't really show off mythical Pokemon much in the story in terms of like worship and whatnot. Well, speaking of mythicals, I still found it insane that you could technically, at this stage in the game, have your starter Pokemon alongside something like a Mew, a Jirachi, and if you play the game during its lifespan, you can also earn the mystery gift for the Manaphy. So you could realistically have like 3 mythicals on your team after the first gym badge, which is insane to think about. Although if you want my personal opinion, the fact you can have those mythicals, while it's cool, you should not use them in... I mean, you could use them in battle if you want, but those Pokemon are decent for the early game. But once you get to like the mid-game to mid to end game section, you'll actually see that the potential of those Pokemon, in terms of their battle potential, really begins to wear off after a while. Because, I mean, if you look at Alakazam's base stat at special attack stat, it's like what, 125 or something? 135? Somewhere between 125 to 135, I think it was. Which is pretty powerful. But then if you look at something like Mew or Jirachi and Manaphy, their stats are just 100 across the board, which you may think sounds good. But considering they're not all that powerful in like anything, they're not all that reliable, especially if you're gonna just run through a game randomly, and therefore they're gonna have EVs scattered in like all directions. It doesn't really bode well for their usefulness, unfortunately. As painful it is for me to say that. Because I definitely used Jirachi during my first playthrough, but by the time I got to Cynthia, battling her, and, well, spoiler alert. This game's old. I tried to not spoil it, but I just spoiled it myself by accident there. By the time you get to the champion battle, you'll find that her usefulness, by the time you get to battling Cynthia, you'll find that using the mythicals on your team is not all that beneficial. So you're better just using other Pokemon. And here's another Galactic Commander. This one I think is definitely Jupiter, considering I recognize that particular hairstyle. Well, the one thing I did find interesting about BDSP is the fact they give all the galactic battles like their own special little... I mean, the original games did have the unique battle music, but the battlefield itself was also special. You can see the galactic logo on the ground there. And there's like mystical cosmic background thingamabob, which is pretty cool. And this guy's ace Pokemon here is a Skuntank. Wait. Oh no, you're not Jupiter. Now that I got that close up there, I think you're Mars actually. I can't believe I missed that one. I wasn't looking that closely. I was focusing on the face, not the hair earlier. Actually, let me look at the text box here after the battle and see which one you are. Wait, you are Jupiter? Oh, wait. Oh, I mixed them up. So the guy is... Wait, is the guy Saturn? So then this is Jupiter, and then we battled earlier as Mars. So Mars and Jupiter are the girls, and Saturn is the guy? I forget. I guess you can roast that in the comments down below. The fact I can't remember these guys' names and their appearance. But can you blame me? Low vision, all that. And yes, I played this game as a kid, but at the same time, like, they're the admins, they're the grunts, they're not all that important. And while they did come back for that one Arceus Chronicles movie thing, like, it was ridiculous. Like, I mean, I thought they all got arrested after, like, it happened in the story, and then all of a sudden we see them come back, and they are attempting to get Cyrus to return from the other world. Am I on the first floor? Where's the exit? I thought it was on the first floor. Where's the exit? Oh, wait, I don't think that's the first floor. I think there's one more staircase. Let me out! Let me out! Aha, there was one more staircase. Okay. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. And I don't get how these plants grow back so quickly after I only spent like a couple of minutes inside those buildings. And now this begins a part of the game that I really despise, and that's not because of these like side quests you now have to do, because for some reason you have to go learn how to use the underground feature. I think it's this guy here. Where is he? So this guy gives us the Explorer Kit, and then he's going to teach you how to use it, which is a pretty quick tutorial. But this is the part of the game I really don't like, because now after you get the second gym badge, it begins like some things that like the main Pokemon Station sometimes does. It's like the I don't know, like there's just a lot of story progression at this point, I guess, but like at the same time, just the time you have to go to get from gym 2 to 3 is rather extensive, and after that the game just like shoots up in like how quickly you can move through the game, because after you get badge number 3 you can just like speed roll your way to get badges 4, 5, and 6 roughly within like the time span of a single hour, which is pretty good in terms of speeding things along, but at the same time it's like, why is it so fast? And yet in order to get just to badge number 3, that segment itself also takes like an hour, so it's like ugh. Anyways, I think this is the place I need to go to next. Oh nope, this is the Pokemart. Not where I wanted to go. Maybe it was up here. Yep, I think it was. Wait, is this one this shop? I think it is. Yep. So after we visit the Explorer shop and we learn about the Grand Underground, which is the feature I was talking about earlier, that you need to go to like I mean, the underground is essentially a place where you can just do a bunch of stuff like mining and whatnot, and looking for like special items like evolution stones, fossils, shards, and eventually the mysterious shards for Rama's Park in the post game. But you can also find places called the underground grottos, I think is what they're called. And you can find Pokemon encounters down there, which is also how you can find some of the Pokemon, like say Pokemon Platinum decks, like the Houndour, Magby, or Magmar. But the most importantly, Pokemon like Apom and Mushrock can be found down there, so that can save you a bit of time trying to find those guys in the honey trees for certain. So thank goodness for small favors. But once you get the post game, you can also find a bunch of National Dex Pokemon down there. Like, you can find all the starter Pokemon in the Grand Underground. So you can find all the Kanto starters, Johto starters, Hoenn starters, and even the Sinnoh starters. So if you're trying to like complete your decks for one reason or another, that's something cool to have. And oh yeah, another thing that the ability Inner Focus also does, it prevents your Pokemon having stat drops from, like, say for example that Staraptor had the Intimidate ability. Inner Focus prevents that from happening, and a few other abilities in Generation 8 were also altered so Intimidate no longer works on them, which I think is pretty cool that they adjusted some abilities like that, because Intimidate was a pretty prevalent ability before, and like Generation 7 like really abused it. Like if you saw like Landorus combined with Incineroar just constantly U-turning in and out of battle and just using Intimidate over and over and over again. So that I think that's when Generation 8 decided to alter some abilities so that Intimidate no longer works on them. But yeah, I most definitely won't get to the next gym in this episode because, well, I'm already close to like the 50-minute mark, I believe, and getting there is going to take quite a while. But I'm hoping I can at least get into Hearthome City before the episode ends, at the very least. But that depends if I stop running into all these blasted trainers here on the cycling road path here on, what is Route 206. Thankfully, after these battles, and I'm running through this route, I'll never have to return here again. And another reason I also try to use certain moves here and there is because I want to use certain power points to save up said power points. Because I want to have as few trips to the Pokemon Center as possible. And there's another example of a teammate not working. And yes, I know Grass is not very effective on flying, but again, I'm trying to save power points on Psychic. Because I want to see if I can save my power points so I don't... I'll heal when I get to Solaceon Town, I believe this was the point I usually try to heal up my power points. Because the following route after that can be a little tedious the trainers there aren't hard, it's just I just usually run out of power points by the time I get to that section. And here comes our friendly rival. And then he'll ask you to choose one of his hands, which doesn't matter because he gives you the first secret item anyway. And wait, did you just teach us a partner move? If he did, I forget which one it is. Maybe, no, it's not strength. You learned it elsewhere. Anyway, that's actually remembered something. Oh wait, where's my device? I need to turn that on for this portion. I think I'm in the right bag. Key items. Yeah, this isn't on. Okay, now it's working. I'm like, okay, what's wrong with this thing? Anyways, let's see. Yep, I'm key items, and I want to go over the bike here. The register button. And then boom. Oop, dang it. Anyway, bike is now registered. And here's a double battle section. I'm not sure you can skip these guys, but if you can, then that would have been nice. But as crazy as it might sound, this is actually an area of the game that we'll actually have to return to later on because of plot reasons. So clearing these guys out now, so I don't have to deal with them later, is going to be beneficial in the long run. So Alexander has something, take him out. Although you're probably wondering why then I didn't register any more key items to my register, because you can register up to 4 at a time. But the reason why I only registered the bike is because they all get triggered when you press the plus or select button. But if you only have one item registered, then you automatically just use the whatever first item you register, in this case the bicycle. For the sake of this playthrough, I only need the bicycle. And looks like I missed it. I failed to pass that trainer. I mean, the good news is, so if I hit them now, I don't have to worry about them later on. And I'm getting more money in the end anyway. It's not that big of a deal, I guess. Was that a critical hit or something? I saw more boxes than normal. Bronzong. Or Bronzor, I should say. Bronzong is the evolution. Bronzor is this guy. I recognize that high-pitched cry anywhere. And I got a level up for Primp up earlier. I think it's already level 22, which is, I think, already pretty high. Anyways, this is the entrance to Mount Coronet, the biggest mountain. Well, probably, I think it's like the only mountain. Well, the only big mountain in the center region. It's like in the middle of the region in this place in terms of like if you saw like a map of the center region, geographical wise. This mountain is huge. It actually has a lot of significant lore in the center region. Oh! Hello, chibi person who's definitely not important to the plot whatsoever. Your eyes are rather frightening there. And totally does not match your little chibi sprite there. But then again, our eyes are and our chibi sprite is also rather intimidating as well. But anyways, just make your way through Mount Coronet. This fortunately there's not much in story progression at the moment here, just have to make your way across the mountain from left to right. Simple as that. And I think the exit's right there. Yeah, no encounters, yeah! That's lucky me, although there's also a chance you can encounter a Chingling, I believe, in Mount Coronet there. Which is one of the few locations you can find it. Although you could find its evolution Chimecho in the wild later on in the story. In Mount Coronet, in like the upper sections of the mountain that you can travel to later on, but unfortunately its encounter rate is either my luck was just abysmal or its encounter rate is just very low, maybe a combination of both. No, my luck's probably both. But I did try to look for Chimecho in the wild because evolving friendship Pokemon in this game can be rather irritating, especially if you don't catch them in luxury balls. Which unfortunately you don't see luxury balls until like near the end of the game, so that can be annoying. Like I think the first opportunity you have to buy luxury balls is like Sunny Shore City, which is already gym number 8 anyway. But having luxury balls is nice because each time you do something friendship related, your Pokemon's friendship will increase. Like whenever they level up, you use them in battle, they never get knocked out in said battles. You walk around with them the first lot of your party, or they're in the party in general. You use healing items on them, you use like vitamins on them. All those things will increase their friendship little by little. And the points just add up over time, so eventually you'll have enough points for them to eventually like evolve their friendship. It just takes so long while. Sturdy, I knew it. What did you just do? Screech me? Oh, never mind. Wait, was that curse? I never understood why curse lowers your speed first and then boosts your stats. It's like a little misleading, I suppose. By the way, your curse is not going to help you, pal. Because essentially forced me to use 2 power points here on you. Dang it. I don't know if that trainer is skippable. Maybe it was if I ran through the grass, but I wanted to avoid any wild encounters. But anyways, I think I might achieve my goal of getting to Heart Home in time for the end of the episode. Let me look at my timer. Oh yeah, just barely at the 1 hour mark. I mean, I'm about to hit the 1 hour mark, but I made it just like pretty much in the nick of time to Heart Home. So I made some good story progression this episode. Bonsly. You better not have story. Good. And then there should be a gate. Well, there's actually an NPC around here. I forget exactly where they are, but you can see like another hunt tree. But there's like an NPC like hidden, I think, maybe down here somewhere. They'll give you something called the Odd Keystone, which is something you use with the Grand Underground. Oh, I found something. Oh, never mind. Alcus was just sitting on the floor, or maybe I was. Oh, it wasn't. I was talking to NPC. Okay. But yeah, this is actually something later on, and on the following route, once you exit Home City on the right side. But for the purposes of this episode, we'll just be cheered. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that like every region has like a big city. Technically speaking, Sinnoh has two big cities. The first one is like Jubilife City. It's like the major big city, but Heart Home is a very close second because I mean this city's pretty much like in the middle of the region and it connects like essentially the eastern and western sides of the region to one another. So it has story significance, especially since you'll be returning here a couple more times throughout the playthrough. Because again, it's in the middle, and its home it's literally called Heart Home. So like, you would think this would probably become your base operations or something. But in terms of being home, like you being your home, I mean, it's the home of contests. If that counts for anything. Oop! I didn't mean to enter that building. Let's see here. I think there was oh, dang it! Although I just heard the music there, that's actually, I think, the Poffin House. You can go in there and use your berries to make Poffins, which increase your Pokemon's contest-related stats. Which I'm actually not going to show off here, but this is the game where Pokemon contests make their return. Dang it, didn't answer you again. I'm trying to find the streets of way to continue. I think it's a little bit more to the left. Yep, there we go. Let me move up here. Yep, here, this should be the contest hall. And is that mom in front? Wait, is this a question mark? Who are we talking to? Oh, Fantina. Oh, gym leader number 5. Because she's also a big fan of Pokemon contests. Which is why she's also tends to play hooky a bit, because she's not at her gym most of the time. But then we see our mother. I think it's like the first time we ever see our mother outside of the gym. Wait, Keira. Were they in the original game? I forget. Probably. But maybe Keira's just like a Pokemon contest specialist or something. That's why I don't remember them as much. Anyways, we get a bunch of contest stuff here if you ever want to do them. I'm not going to show them off in this playthrough, but I mean, you guys want me to? Maybe I can just show an episode later on of me attempting to get to Master Rank or something. But yeah, this is essentially going to conclude this episode. I think I made some good progress. I managed to get all the way from Orberg all the way up to Heart Home. So after this, my next destination will be Veilstone City, which again takes a while because all the story stuff you have to go through just to get up there. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Like, comment, subscribe. Links to my social media is down below. And I guess I'll just see you all next time. Take care!